You're going to live longer than you think, much longer. According to the World Health Organization, if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you have a better than 50% chance of living well into your 90s. And I'm not talking about debilitated, sick, feeble 90s. I'm talking about healthy, active, viable 90s. We're entering into a completely different world in which there's going to be more people living longer and healthier than ever before. And we got to start changing how we think and how we prepare for this change. So, you're going to live longer than you think. How does that make you feel? Ponder that for a second. My name's Randy Erler, and this is the Living Well Blueprint podcast. I am a health coach and personal trainer, and I focus exclusively on helping people build bodies that will help them through that much longer life. We get one body, it's got to carry us the whole way. So let's go back to that question. You're going to live longer than you think, and how does that make you feel? You excited? You anxious? You scared? This is not a tech bro, billionaire, biohack, sci-fi fantasy. This isn't anti-aging. This isn't we've conquered death. This is simply healthier people with better medical intervention, better pharmacology, and better fitness practices, increasing their health span. So we're going to live healthier, longer, and die shorter. So how does that make you feel? So a lot of things will come up in this process. One of the things is we probably have some internal ageism. That's resistance to aging in itself. We all have something inside of us that resists that. There's an entire industry, anti-aging, that's focused entirely on trying to get you to stay young, to not age. Okay, it's ridiculous in its very concept. You're aging, and I'm not saying you won't. You're gonna die. But those things are gonna happen more slowly, and the death is gonna be farther away. So we have to start changing how we think about aging, embracing it as A, a reality, and B, an opportunity. Okay, this is also going to change the dimensions of how we live. If you go back 100 years, there was no such thing as senior citizens. People worked, and then many died young. Lifespans were short, 40s and their 50s. Okay, then we started extending lifespan, and people started leaving work, and they retired. And 65 was a year chosen arbitrarily, but ironically, a lot of people then ended up dying within a couple years. So that made sense to cease to work, which is what retirement means, ceasing to work. They didn't have a lot of time left. You might as well relax and enjoy it. If you have 3 or 4 decades remaining, what does that do to retirement? I'm not saying you don't leave the job you hate, but I'm saying it changes perspective on how we choose to spend those next 3 or 4 decades. That's going to be a huge shift in our culture. We're going to have an entirely new life stage that exists beyond 75. Most of what we're structured on, the mental maps we live by, are as a young person, we're in school. It's education. It's preparation for a career. That's the question we're asked constantly. Then we enter the work world. We spend 35, 40 years doing whatever it is we're doing, and then it's retirement. We have mental maps of that. We know what that looks like. If somebody says they're working or they're retiring, we have already fixed ideas of what that looks like. The challenge now is we don't have that beyond a certain point. Even in retirement, we understand, you get to take it easy. You get to throw your alarm clock away. You gave the boss the finger. You went on a cruise. Good for you. Enjoy yourself. But then what? Right? And especially what for 30 to 40 years. So we have to start reframing how we look at life and the stages of our life and how we're going to use our time and approach our careers and the idea of retirement. That's all going to shift. Additionally, it changes how we think about health. So a lot of what I deal with is people who have issues with their body, or they believe they have issues with their body that they want to fix. Sometimes it stems from body image. There's other factors, but they see fitness or health as not something that increases their capacity or viability. They see it as a way to change their body in a manner that would make them more attractive to themselves or to others. So we have to reframe that. Health is your body's ability to do what you want it to do for as long as possible. So that changes how we treat our bodies. A lot of us do things, especially when we're younger, they're destructive things for our body. We create injuries, we create traumas, we create mechanical inefficiencies that result in what you see now, an epidemic of knee replacements, hip replacements, all of these joint issues, many of which can be mitigated by behaving differently. Your body's designed physically to last 100 years. If it's cared for, if it's maintained, if it's strengthened in a manner that encourages that. So we have to reframe fitness and aging. And lastly, we have to address aging not as individuals, but as community. This is going to involve other people. We're going to need each other. This is going to be an incredibly chaotic and confusing time because we're going to be learning it as we go. Again, there's no map for this. There's no way to know what we're supposed to do. There's no right or wrong established. We're going to be figuring this out. You need other people. The challenge in the anti-aging idea is it's very self-centered. It's you tracking your macros, your micros, tracking with all your apps and your sleep and all these different elements and trying to optimize you. So this isn't about you. The statistical probability is you're going to live either way if you have a healthy lifestyle. So it's going to be important to reach out to others, to extend ourselves in community across generations. So lots of things to consider. You're going to live longer than you think. Change how you think about aging, start reframing how you think about your future, and change how you think about health, and start making some connections outside yourself. My name's Randy Erler. This is the Living Well Blueprint. I'll be posting videos weekly. If you like this one, please subscribe and share it with somebody you know. Take care.